Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, Official Accountability here. Listen, today's video, I want to discuss the 5 airports that have given me the worst experience to my best experience, all right? And I'm just going to be as, honest as I can, and you make your determination based off of the information that I give you, all right? So we're going to do this in order from 5 all the way down to my number 1, which would be my best experience, all right? So we're going to start out with number 5, which is Miami International Airport. To those of you who have ever landed in Miami International Airport, I don't think I've heard of anyone ever having a positive experience in Miami. You're always going to get sent to secondary, really no matter where you go, but um, it really comes down to the agent that you get. And they're known to be crazy out there in Miami. So I don't know what's in the water out there, but they're always going to send you to secondary. They're always going to hassle you. They're always going to cause conflict. All right. They're going to confront you about whatever it is that you have that puts you on the registry or whatever it is that they're sending you to secondary in the first place. All right. So this is going to be Miami International Airport. So when I got denied entry into Thailand, I flew into Miami International Airport, right? Your port of entry is always going to be your first airport that you land in when you land into the United States of America. I can't say the same, when it comes to driving, walking. I'm not really familiar with that because I always fly. I've only walked through the border once, but this video is about airports. All right, so Miami International Airport. When I landed in Miami International Airport, after being refused entry into Thailand. There's a whole other story into that, and I'll go into that. Maybe a different video, or if you shoot me an email, I'll discuss it. But I did land in the Miami International Airport for the third time. When I handed the agent my passport, he looked at it. He fumbles through the damn pages, scans it, does all of this, takes my picture, my fingerprints, and all of this. Um, I don't know. He must have took 10 minutes just looking at my passport. It was so annoying, right? I go straight back to secondary, right? I'm expecting to be asked a total of 2 to 3 questions and to be sent out. Not this time. This time they wanted to search bags, they wanted to search electronics, they wanted to do the most. And of course, when you're flying into America, you really don't have any option to refuse. So, of course, I agree. I hand over everything, I let them search because, I really don't have anything to lose. It's like, go ahead. If anything, he's going to see a bunch of pictures that he's going to regret looking at. And that's his dumbass fault, whatever. Um, the agents went through my bags. They didn't find anything. They went through all my electronics, my iPad, my laptop, my phone. Um, they literally took 3 hours going through everything. And not only that, they strip searched me. Yes, I felt violated, but I guess this is their way of, what they call it, get back. For the reason why they sent me to secondary in the first place, I don't know, but they did strip search me and I felt violated. Um, and like I said, I'll get into this a whole different video or maybe in an email or maybe if you reach out to me personally, but it was violating. All right, there was a whole situation to that. Excuse me, my allergies are acting up. Um, all right, so that's number 5. I would, if you can avoid Miami, I would highly recommend you avoid Miami. Please avoid it. And plus, if anything happens to your flight in Miami, which keeps you in Florida for an extra day, you could be subjected to being put on the registry out there and they're not going to remove you. So this is just something for you to think about. Um, I don't know if they're like, what is this? O'Hare in Chicago, where you fly into the airport and it does not count as a calendar day. I don't know if Florida's like that, but I know O'Hare is like that. All right. So if you just flying through O'Hare, they're not going to consider it a day. It's if you leave the airport and actually go browsing around and they find out that you're there, that counts as a full calendar year, which you can potentially screw yourself over, right? So number five is Miami International Airport. I would not recommend that. Please avoid that at all costs. Let's go to number four. So number four is going to be LAX, which would be Los Angeles International Airport, right? So the first time I had gotten denied entry into Thailand, it was because I flew straight from the US like an idiot. I didn't know, and I wanted to be brave, and I wanted to make an example for you guys to know what not to do, right? And that ended up costing me a lot, right? So I flew straight out of Los Angeles International Airport. I landed in Taipei, Taiwan. From Taiwan, I landed in Bangkok, Thailand. Bangkok, Thailand, the immigration agents, they were there waiting on me. They had my photo and all my information right there. The US had sent them, and of course, they denied me entry. They also made me pay for the flight back to the US. And I couldn't pick the flight that I had back to the US. I had to take the exact same flight, the exact same route back to the US. So I went back through Taipei, Taiwan, and then I landed in LAX, Los Angeles International Airport, right? It was a long ass flight. So when I landed in Los Angeles International Airport, the agents were like, they were a bunch of bitches, so to speak. This time they didn't go through my electronics, but they did go through my luggage. Of course, they saw there was nothing there, but another agent had called a supervisor over, and the supervisor came and said, "Yeah, we're not gonna go through your thing. We're not gonna go through your electronics this time, but we can." And I said, "I don't really care if you do, just as long as I'm at my next gate in time for me to take my flight back home." In which I was landing in Dallas, right? All right, so they did search my things. They did take a significant amount of time, but eventually they cut me loose. The agent, he really wasn't too disrespectful, but it's the fact that it's because I was denied entry. They treated me like that, and of course they feel as if they can do whatever they want to do with you. Um, but I wouldn't necessarily count out LAX as an airport to land in because I would think that you're going to get treated this way no matter which airport that you go to. But LAX specifically, if I can help, I would personally avoid it. It's a major airport. You know, their security has been beefed up, just like Miami. It's just state laws in Miami, well, in Florida, are just automatically crazy, right? All right, so I'm not going to necessarily count out LAX as a port of entry for you to arrive in, depending on where you're coming from. But I will say if you can avoid it, just avoid it, right? Third is going to be Houston International Airport. Just like LAX, they caused me the same hassle, right? I wasn't denied entry. This time I was actually coming back from Poland, in which I landed in significantly fine, right? I had no issues. When I came back to the US and landed in Houston, they wanted to search my things, but didn't, right? So here's the thing. When I landed in LAX the trip before, they went through all my things and they saw how cooperative I was being, and I allowed them to go through everything, right? They actually saw a note that Miami International Airport had put into their system about them searching everything and did not find anything. There were no concerns. They saw the note and they were just like okay with it. I guess this is why they were like, we don't need to search your electronics. Miami had already done it, right? Same thing with Houston. They saw the same note. Um, Houston, they did search my things, but it was really a light search, right? They basically checked the top layer of my bags. Uh, I don't think I recall them opening any pockets or anything like that. They really did just cut me loose. So Houston International Airport would be number three. Um, I don't have any objections of you landing in Houston. Really, it's going to come down to the agent that you get, but I see how they operate as a team out there. And, even though we get sent to secondary, I don't think I really can ask for much better treatment, right? I mean, well, I can, but I don't know, whatever. Anyway, we're going to go to number two. Number two would be Dallas. All right, so when I landed in Dallas, I was actually coming from Germany. When I landed in Dallas, I hand the agent my passport. Of course, I got sent to secondary. And when I got back to secondary, Customs and Border Patrol in the back, they asked me a total of two questions. Where did I go? And how was the trip? I answered the questions. They handed me my passport back and said, have a good flight. They let me go. No issues at all, even though I did get sent to secondary. Again, this is coming down to the agent that you get. But I see how they operate as a whole over there in Dallas, and I would be okay with it, right? Dallas is a pretty big airport. You got to take trains to get to your gates, and the airport is massive. To those of you who have been there, comment below and tell me if I'm wrong, all right? But I got treated fairly in Dallas. I have no issues. Number one is going to be my best experience. And I would say Seattle Tacoma International Airport. Surprising, right? There's been a few other members of my group, as well as people on the forums, who have flown into Seattle International, and they didn't have any issues. As a matter of fact, when I landed in Seattle, I was actually coming back from Thailand the second time I went to Thailand. This time I was not denied entry. I went into Thailand. I had fun. I stayed there for maybe 2 months. I came back. I landed in Seattle International Airport. And when I uh, go to hand the agent my passport, she opens the page, looks at it, shuts it, and hands it back. She doesn't even scan it. She didn't scan it. Maybe they do for some travelers, but this particular time, she did not look at my passport. She handed it back. I didn't get sent to secondary. I got basically kicked out of the airport. Have a good flight. All right. So I landed in the airport and it was literally that smooth. That's my best experience. And I've actually heard other individuals have these same sort of experiences when flying through Seattle International Airport. So I can confidently put that at number one, specifically because I went through it. All right. As well as reading the forums and other individuals haven't gone through the same situation, right? They're totally okay with it. So Miami is going to be up there at number five. I would say, depending on where you're going, avoid Miami at all costs. Some of you want to try to get into other countries south, and that's fine. But going through um, Miami is going to cause you problems. They always do, right? Maybe because it's Florida, I don't know. Best experience is going to be Seattle Tacoma International Airport. I would highly recommend that airport if you're coming in from Asia. Of course, if you're coming in from Europe, you're not really going to have that option. It's going to send you out of your way depending on where you live in the US. But if you're coming in from any part of Asia, I would definitely say book a flight that allows you the first port of entry to be Seattle Tacoma. Um, if you're coming in from anywhere in Europe, I would suggest either a Houston or a Dallas airport to land in. Uh, Definitely stay away from Miami. I've landed in Orlando also, but that's not for this video. All right. Um, yeah, I would just say definitely look out because where you land is important. All right. There's state laws that can hinder you even further. So take with this information whatever you choose. Shoot me an email if you want to discuss anything further. I do still have the WhatsApp group and the Telegram group. So if you are interested in joining either one of those, shoot me an email. I will get you verified and add you to either, depending on what you want to do. All right. So we do give consultations on where it is you're trying to go. I do have a lot of experience, and we do have other members in the group that are very helpful, you know. So definitely reach out to me, and we can discuss anything any further. All right. But till next time, peace.